Something shocking is happening in Africa, and you need to know what it is. African residents woke up in the morning and discovered that the ground beneath your feet is literally splitting in half. Okay, but what is really happening to Africa? That's what you'll discover now. So join us and let's go. For the inhabitants of some regions of East Africa, this is not fiction. It is the new and frightening reality. A long time ago, we learned at school that there are 7 continents in the world: Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, and Oceania. But what if I told you that number is about to change? Yes, you read that right. Africa, the world's second largest continent, is slowly splitting into 2. It all started in March 2018, when residents near the Suswa volcano in Kenya woke up to a terrifying sight. During the night, a huge crack had appeared in the ground, as if an invisible giant had torn apart the earth with its powerful hand. This crack was not small. It was 15 meters deep and 20 meters wide. Imagine a chasm the size of a 5-story building opening up in the middle of your street. This rift is just one sign of a larger phenomenon. The Rift Valley is one of the largest fractures in the Earth's crust, stretching from Northeast Africa to Mozambique. This region marks the separation between the African plate and the Somali plate, which are slowly moving apart. As these plates move, magma from deep within the Earth rises, causing warping and cracking of the surface. Geologists are monitoring this region closely, using advanced technologies like GPS and 3D models to predict how and when these changes will occur. The rate of plate separation is just a few millimeters per year, but even such small movements can have significant consequences. In the future, these fissures will widen, allowing the sea to flood the area, creating a new ocean between the 2 parts of the African continent. Panic-stricken locals began to walk the length of the rift, trying to find its beginning and end. They walked for miles and miles, but the crack seemed to have no end. Fear spread quickly. Some feared that the Suswa volcano was about to erupt. Others, more superstitious, believed that the gods had gone mad. But the truth behind this phenomenon is even more impressive than any legend or superstition. What the residents were witnessing was nothing less than the birth of a new continent. Scientists around the world were stunned by the news. After all, it's not every day that we see a continent splitting before our eyes. In fact, this type of geological event usually takes millions of years to happen, making it practically imperceptible to us humans with our relatively short lives. But what exactly is causing this divide? To understand this, we need to delve a little into the geology of Africa. East Africa sits on what scientists call the Great Rift Valley. This valley is an extensive depression on the Earth's surface that stretches for more than 6,000 kilometers, from the Gulf of Aden in the north to Mozambique in the south. It's like a huge scar on the face of the continent. This valley marks the border between 2 tectonic plates, the African plate and the Somali plate. Currently, the Somali plate is slowly moving eastward, while the African plate is moving westward. This gradual movement, although imperceptible on a daily basis, is leading to an inevitable separation. Deep beneath the surface, huge streams of hot magma are rising from the Earth's mantle. This flow of magma is literally pushing the 2 plates away from each other. It's as if an invisible force is pulling the continent in opposite directions. As the plates move apart, the Earth's crust stretches and becomes thinner. Eventually, it breaks apart, forming cracks like the one that appeared in Kenya. Over time, these cracks become larger and deeper. But the really surprising part is that scientists believe that, in a few million years, this split will be so great that the sea will invade the valley, creating a new ocean. The eastern part of Africa, including countries such as Somalia, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Tanzania, will completely separate from the rest of the continent, forming a large island similar to Madagascar. It is difficult to imagine the scale of these changes. We are talking about transformations that will fundamentally alter the geography of our planet. Countries that are now neighbors can become separated by hundreds of kilometers of ocean. Areas that are currently in the heart of the continent could become coastline. But don't think this will happen overnight. The process of separation of continents is incredibly slow by human standards. Currently, the plates are moving apart at a rate of only about 7 millimeters per year. This means it will take millions of years for the separation to be complete. However, even on this geological timescale, the effects are already being felt. The rift that appeared in Kenya in 2018 was just the most dramatic in a series of events. Small but frequent earthquakes are common in the region. Volcanoes that have long been dormant are showing signs of renewed activity. For the millions of people who live along the Rift Valley, these geological changes are not just a scientific curiosity. They are a daily reality, that affects their lives in profound and sometimes frightening ways. Imagine living with the knowledge that at any moment, the ground beneath your feet could literally give way. Houses had to be abandoned, roads were destroyed, farm fields were cut in half. Uncertainty about the future hangs over communities like a dark cloud. But amid this uncertainty, there is also an incredible opportunity for science. For the first time in human history, we have the chance to observe and study the formation of a new continent in real time. Geologists, volcanologists, and seismologists from around the world are converging on East Africa, eager to learn everything they can about this unique phenomenon. They are using cutting-edge technologies to monitor every movement of the tectonic plates. Satellites orbiting the Earth can detect changes in the surface with millimeter precision. Seismic sensors spread across the region capture even the slightest tremor. Sophisticated computer models are being used to predict how the divide might progress in the coming decades and centuries. All this knowledge is crucial to helping local communities prepare for the changes that are coming. For example, knowledge about where new cracks are most likely to form can help with urban planning, ensuring that new construction is done in safer areas. Understanding seismic patterns can lead to better early warning systems for earthquakes. But not all effects of division are necessarily negative. As the Earth's crust stretches and thins, mineral resources that were once deeply buried they become more accessible. This could lead to new economic opportunities for the region. The formation of a new ocean could also bring benefits. New coasts mean new ports, new trade routes, and new opportunities for fishing and tourism. Of course, this is all in the distant future, but it's fascinating to think about the possibilities. It's important to note that while the split of Africa is the most dramatic example of this type of geological activity, it is not the only one. All over the world, tectonic plates are constantly moving. The Andes mountain range in South America is growing by a few millimeters every year due to plate collision. The Red Sea is slowly widening. Even Europe has its own rift system, although currently inactive. All of this serves to remind us of a fundamental truth. Earth is a living, dynamic planet. As scientists continue to study this phenomenon and local communities adapt to changes in their environment, one thing is certain: the future of Africa, and indeed our planet as a whole, promises to be as fascinating as it is unpredictable. And who knows, perhaps one day in the distant future, children around the world will learn about the Great African Schism in their history classes, just as we today learn about continental drift and the formation of today's continents. How about discovering impressive discoveries made around the world? This video that is now appearing on the screen will shock you. So take advantage and click on it now. Well, that's it, and until next time, curious.